Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of the Relentless Transitions podcast, where we talk about life, business, and triumph. I am one of your hosts, Miss Teresa Carthren, and I am here with my lovely co host from Canada, Miss Rosalind Keith. How are you doing today, Rosalind?
I am doing fabulous. I'm always doing fabulous when I'm having a conversation with you, Teresa. It's
Well,
always,
awesome,
it's
awesome. I
always
like to bring some joy and positivity into the room.
That's right.
What is the weather like there in Canada today?
We're having quite a rainy, stormy day. Just 30, not even 30 seconds ago, just as you started speaking, the rain was just pouring down. Now it's light, but I imagine we'll get back to the pouring rain. But you know what? The greens look amazing.
Yes, it's very lush and green here. We've been having some rain kind of off and on. Right now it's quiet, but it's kind of you can't tell it by the sunshine coming in through the window, but it's been a little bit overcast and it's definitely still wet outside. But you know, I'm excited for the rain and the sunshine. I can tell
Yeah.
you that because guess what? I we when I first moved to Georgia, this is actually kind of a I don't know if you want to call it a fun fact, but when we moved here, there was a drought.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like literally, they passed a law saying that we could only water the grass on, depending upon what your house number was.
Yeah.
So if you had an even numbered house number, you could water your grass on the even days. And they even had police officers that were patrolling the
Yeah.
subdivisions, and they would actually come up to your door. And how do I know? Because they came to our door because we were trying to sneak at 5 o'clock in the morning and turn on the sprinklers. Next thing we saw blue lights outside. So they were very serious that you needed to, stick to those guidelines. So
We,
ever since then, I mean, hey, when it rains, I just never complain.
yeah.
Like just let it rain.
Yeah, we live with those restrictions every single summer here because our water comes from underground. So we have our underground source of water, and if we use it up watering our lawns, we're not going to have it to drink.
Oh
so
wow. Wow.
so we live with that restriction every year. And honestly, this year is the first year in quite a long time that I can say we have had enough rain that because normally our grass by this time of the year was just straw brown, disgusting, and this is the first year in a long time that I can remember that we've actually had enough rain that you don't have to worry about watering anything. So
Oh wow.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know that. Last time I visited Canada, it was just so beautiful and lush and
Well, it depends on where you visited, right? Where were you?
I was in Thunder Bay.
Okay, that's very far north.
Okay.
Thunder Bay is from me. I think it's a almost a 2-day drive.
Are you kidding?
No, I am not. We fly to Bay. We do not
Oh
drive.
wow, I didn't even realize Canada was that big. I gotta come
Yeah,
back.
yeah. It's huge. Ontario actually has 2 time zones because it's so big. So
Wow.
yeah. So anyway,
So
that's
guys, look,
yeah.
Rosalind and I have never met face to face. We we developed this awesome friendship from being accountability partners inside of a business educational group. Something that we were participating in, and it's just really been awesome ever since. So I'm excited to come, and visit. I'm thinking that one day Rosalind and I will actually be vlogging, and you guys will be able to hear us and see us on our YouTube channel as we're going about our travels, together. Maybe
Yeah.
that'll be coming soon. I'm going to speak it into existence, Rosalind.
There we go. Yeah. Well, and we're looking really good COVID wise up here. 56% of Ontarians have been double vaccinated already. And
Okay.
um, so the world is opening up. We can eat in restaurants again starting on Friday for the first time in Lord knows how long. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Things have opened up here, but I still see people being a little cautious, but it's definitely very welcomed. Well,
I
you
think
know what?
I'm going
Look,
to be cautious for a long time. So
yes, all
yeah,
of this energy that Rosalind and I have today is perfect for our topic, because what
exactly.
we're going to be talking about today is about gratitude. The power of it. We're going to talk about, what does it mean? How does it help you? What are the benefits of, operating in a state of gratitude? And Rosalind, I think I just live in a state of gratitude. But Rosalind is really like this professional when it comes to gratitude. She's even, become kind of my little go-to resource. I have my anecdotes and things that I practice, but she's really like our guru. So today I'm going to take the opportunity to, I'm going to chime in, I'm getting mine in, but I'm going to interview her about gratitude. So, Rosalind, you are in the hot seat. Are you ready?
Again.
Again, see?
We're gonna have to start coming up with some topics to put you in the hot seat.
I'm going to chime in. I'll chime in. So, first, let's talk about gratitude. What is it? What's the meaning of gratitude? What is all this talk about being grateful?
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't think even 10 years ago that people were talking about gratitude a whole lot. But research has been going on um, into how gratitude and being in a state of gratefulness actually changes your your brain. It actually creates feel good chemicals. And I'm not just talking about saying, um, oh, I'm grateful for the green today.
Mhm.
I'm talking about really embodying gratitude. And listing things you're grateful for is super helpful, but I think really embodying gratefulness requires more than just a list. You need to
Mhm.
really and if you do, you will find that it releases those feel good chemicals in your brain, and you end up sleeping better. You end up with less physical illness, more happiness, less stress, increased empathy for other people. It increases your self-esteem and your resiliency. There's so many benefits from practicing gratitude. So I can't say enough how once I started doing this regularly, how it really changed my life. I do sleep better. I do smile more, and I'm not talking about just going around in a state of Pollyanna, everything's good in the world, because let's face it, not everything is good in the world. But if you can focus more on the good in the world, um, it helps you get through your days. And it actually provides you, in some cases, with a lot of energy to start um, spreading that gratefulness around the world in the way, of volunteering. How many people do we know that have started up nonprofits because they actually have felt so grateful for what they've been able to do in their lives? They've gone out and done great things for the world. So I,
Mhm.
I could go on and on.
Now, yeah, look, see, this is why you can't interview Rosalind, because Rosalind just, she's cheating. I call myself being prepared. See here with my little cards with my questions on there, and she's going through all the
Yeah.
questions before I even get a chance to really answer them. But Rosalind, I actually really heard a lot of things in there with what you were saying about some of the benefits of gratitude. I find that it really can help with depression, you know, and anxiety, mental health. You know, not only is gratitude something that is, you know, really a hot topic or trending or on the lips of everyone today, but, you know, our mental health and ways to actually protect it, or to uplift it, that is definitely something that, you know, I know in my friend group, you know, that we talk about, that we check in on one another about, to just make sure, you know, that everyone is mentally and emotionally okay, because not only just, you know, the pandemic, but all of the things that that brought about, but you know, there's been so much change that we as a country have just gone through
Yeah.
over, you know, the past couple of years. And you know, now, even now, you know, that things are opening up, then there's fears about going back out there. You know,
Yeah.
now we have a whole different set of things that we're, you know, trying to deal with. So but it can help with anxiety, with depression, with stress, like you mentioned. I also think that when you practice, you know, being in this state of gratitude, that it helps to protect you or keep you from that tendency of comparing yourself to other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
You know, when I can think of what I am grateful for, you know, the things that I have that I can be happy and, you know, grateful for, then I'm not looking at everyone else saying, oh, she has this, and oh,
Yeah.
he has that, and why, you know, oh, my life is, you know, you don't think about yourself. It's very easy for us to look outward than it is for us to look inward.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very true. I know one thing that has helped me throughout this past 18 months that we've been living through, and can you believe it? It's been 18 months living through this COVID stuff, is my ability to be grateful for the life I have,
Hmm.
um, that has kept me protected. And then in turn, being grateful, my mother was very, very sick. She was hospitalized for 4 months, not because of COVID, because of other medical reasons, throughout the peak of COVID. And just watching the nurses and sitting in the emergency department, watching them, obviously, very obviously, there was a person in one of those isolated rooms, and all the scary PPE the nurses were wearing and stuff, very obviously, and to be able to, in that moment, concentrate on, um my, because I have that feeling of gratefulness throughout my life, to look at those nurses and just, even though my mother was being ignored because this COVID patient had gone into respiratory failure, to be grateful that, um, I have a medical system that can deal with, severe patients like that. And being grateful, just for the fact that, I knew that my mom would be taken care of, just watching how they cared for their patients, even the
Hmm.
very, very ill and, highly contagious patients and stuff.
Right.
Just
Right.
watching them, I just so grateful for them,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's I can't, yeah, again, I think, I think gratitude changes the way you look at not only your own life, but the world in general. Because if you
Hmm.
can look at it from a perspective of what is good in that horrible situation, it helps with that horrible situation a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely. You know, practicing gratitude can definitely help you to release those toxic emotions.
Yeah.
You know, anything that is negative or toxic, like you know, what you can't, what, you know, words like can't have,
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah.
don't have, um, you know, guilt, frustration, anything that is just unforgiveness,
Yeah.
anything like that, gratitude, practicing gratitude can really be helpful. Now, you know, another thing that I like about practicing gratitude, because of course, here we are, these strong business women. So, you know what, this podcast is like therapy for us, because you know because it's like, when you're a strong woman, that's not something that has been really embraced, around the world until like recent times. So, when you're really, really strong, people think that you're strong all the time and
Yeah.
that you're never vulnerable. But one of the things about us being strong is that what we like to do things by ourselves sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So I like gratitude because guess what? You can practice it all by yourself. You
Yeah. You
do
can.
not have to share with other people, what you are actually, you don't have to share with them what you're thankful for.
Yeah.
If you have a gratitude journal, it's something that you can write in,
Yeah.
in the morning on your, it's personal. It can be something totally personal to you. It doesn't have to be something that you're sharing with someone else. So, and I think that things like that allow you to really truly express, yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
um what about Rosalind, is when you try to practice gratitude, well, let me go back, let me ask this question first. What, give us some tips or some ways that we can practice gratitude?
So yeah, so how do you grow your gratitude? How do you grow your feelings of great?
If I'm a person who's normally negative, or
Yeah.
maybe I don't even think in my mind that I'm a negative person, but I don't really focus on being grateful either. So
Yeah.
if this is a practice, that I would like to start incorporating into my daily or weekly routine, how can I get started? What are some tips for me?
So I think there are kind of two forms of gratitude journaling that you can look at, and you can combine them for sure. And one is sort of a daily just listing of the good things that happened in your life that day. So I'm grateful that my coffee tasted good this morning, because I cleaned the coffee machine last night, and so things were fresher or something, or I'm grateful for spotting the fox in my neighborhood, or so you can just do that every night before you go to bed. Just list three things. It's better if you write it down, because it's actually been proven that by physically doing that writing, it actually registers better in your brain.
Mhm.
So I really, really encourage people to not only just list in their head, but to write it down. If you can't write it down, no big deal, but end every day with a few moments of just saying, okay, three things I'm grateful for today. That makes a huge difference to your ability to fall asleep, and the quality of sleep you get.
Mhm.
Um, the other form of journaling is a little bit more intense. And but the good thing about it is that you only need to do it 2 or 3 times a week to feel the benefits. So this one involves a little bit more. I like to pick a theme, for example, like a person who really means a lot to you in your life, and to say, okay, this week I'm going to write about that person. And when you're doing those writings, really, really deep, drop in deeply into what it is about that person. Don't just say, I'm grateful that John is in my life. Really drop deep into why you're grateful he's in your life, what it is about him, what qualities there are about him that make you glad that he's in your life. So really, really spend some time dropping deeply into it. And as you're doing that, feel the sensations in your body, feel the changes in your brain. Are you smiling as you write this? Really, really connect to the emotions that writing deeply about this thing you're grateful, this person, place, opportunity, object that you're grateful for having around, and connecting to it on a much deeper level. 2 or 3 times a week actually um, provides great benefits. So if you're not into the doing the daily list of gratitude, 3 things of gratitude, 2 or 3 times a week, 10 minutes or so per session, that's all you need to start feeling the changes. The chemicals start changing in your brain so that you start feeling happy. um, I really recommend, before you do the deep dive into gratitude journaling, that you set the mood in some way. So light a candle, have your favorite beverage, get into your cozy pajamas, whatever it is that will signal to yourself that this is kind of me time. This is my time to spend growing my happiness chemicals in my brain through gratitude journaling. And again, it's 2 to 3 times a week. It's not a big time commitment that you have to do this before you start noticing benefits. It's amazing.
Mhm. Well, you know what? I think that those are some amazing tips. I actually really love that. Some of the things that I picked up on when you were talking was the fact that, hey, we're like super, super busy people. So I'm adding to, what you're saying. I really like the fact that it doesn't have to take a really long time.
Yeah.
And that with your list that you are sharing with us, that we can really just do a list of 3 things, that it doesn't have to be 100 things, that it can be 3 things that we're actually grateful for. So that might, really not take much time at all. And if you're adding that to your routine, then that can even be something that you're thinking about throughout your day.
Yeah.
If you journal at night, you're going to write your 3 things down before you go to bed, then you can be thinking about that throughout the day. That actually can help to like move your mind into more of
Yeah.
a positive space. I was just thinking, throughout the day. And then also I liked what you mentioned about how you're basically going to be building this sense of gratitude in your mind and releasing those chemicals over time. And I think that's important because for everyone to understand that you're not going to just always feel just instantaneously better. I think that instantaneously better to me happens more so now because I've been practicing being grateful for such a long time. So I mean, it can take 5 seconds and I'm into, I don't really ever get way too far off,
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I really like that. And I like the idea of journaling. But, there are some other ways, and I kind of, picked up because, I'm very visual as well. We all receive and learn things differently. I definitely like writing it down because just like with goal setting, if you don't write the goals down, the likelihood of you hitting them, it really decreases. I'll put it like that. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it does decrease because our minds are receiving so much information all of the time. Shoot, I don't even remember. I was up at 5 o'clock this morning, but I don't remember everything that was going on already. I've some of those ideas that I had this morning. Yeah, so I was up this morning at like 5 o'clock, but I don't remember what was going on or all of the ideas, that I had this morning. So I'm very conscientious when I'm sitting at my desk to have paper where I can just kind of, jot things down because what we write down, we really remember.
Mhm.
So I thought of some fun ways, that you can write down or keep up with your the things that you're thankful for. And this is fun for kids as well. But
Yeah.
look, I'm just a big kid, so because I use these all the time. And people who work with me, they know. Here she goes. She's gonna pull up these index cards, but I'm just gonna bring them up kind of towards the camera. If you can see, these are just some neon colored, index cards. They don't. These do have lines, but they have them. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have them without the lines. But I love these, or the neon colored post-it notes.
Yeah.
I love those. And so, just my eye just seems to be drawn to the colors, and I can just write one sentence on a card, or you could put all three of your things on a card, each day. And I love these because I can easily take these with me. I can throw them in my purse if I want to carry them with me. Especially, I've had those times, and Rosalind, I'm sure that you have too, where you're going through something that's really difficult, or you're maybe working in a difficult situation, whether it's on a job or even volunteering at the church, honey. Them
Hmm.
church people. No, I'm just joking. Look, don't look, they be jumping off the podcast. What did she say about the church people? But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
so
Do not email us. Teresa does not believe church people are horrible. I
no,
promise.
I'm not saying look, trust me, I'm one of those church people. So, but anyway, but just taking it, or as we talked about, dealing with negative people, sometimes, just having something positive, around you, with you, that you have easy access, also. And then another thing that I do, Rosalind, you haven't mentioned that during this podcast, but just when we were speaking
Yeah.
before we came on, you were talking about a gratitude jar.
Yeah, yeah. So one thing, and this I think is just a marvelous, fun little way to do it. And as you said, kids can get into this too, right? So
Mm-hmm.
get a mason jar or a big clear jar, get some colorful notes of some sort. Um, Kind of decorate your jar, and then every day write down at least one thing you're grateful for from that day. Plop it in the jar. Do this for a month, a year, whatever. Pop open the jar after, set the time period that you're going to do it for. I have a friend who does it for the year, and she starts on January 1st and she does it all the way through, especially during COVID. She was doing this. And then on New Year's Eve, because we weren't allowed to party, she popped open a bottle of champagne or sparkling wine and popped open the top of that gratitude jar. And she was able to read all these little notes she had made to herself over the
Wow.
year about what was good about her life despite being in isolation and not being able to. She's a very social person. And I received a lovely little text message from her saying, I've been reading my gratitude notes, and one of the things I'm grateful for is having such a nice neighbor, and I just want you to know that. And it made her feel good to share her thoughts. It made me feel amazing to know that, so it's just a fun little way. I think kids would have fun with it too. The other one that you can try is a scavenger hunt, a gratitude scavenger hunt. So make up a list of like finding something that makes you happy, finding a color that makes you happy, finding a drink that makes you happy, find something in nature that you're thankful for. You can make up the list. It can just go on because there are so many things that you can be grateful for. And if you make it into a little scavenger hunt, it makes it kind of fun way to spend an afternoon. um, and just, if you're stuck inside because it's raining, for example, finding these little objects that are your favorite color, finding your favorite song, finding your favorite, all these things that just bring a little sense of happiness to you, piling them up in front of you, and just being thankful that they're all part of your life. So yeah, and that's another one you can do with kids, right? You can make it
Yes.
very
It's
simple.
one you can do with kids. And then, look, I'm one of those people, I get giddy about everything that I come up with. So I I'll play with it as well, just like the kids. So I love that. And I'm going to show you something. You're going to be surprised. See, you didn't know that I had this. But before I show everyone this, and for those of you who are listening, be sure when you get a moment, go to our YouTube channel, Relentless Transitions, and you will be able to see some of these things that I'm sharing today. But we definitely want you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. But one of the things that you mentioned earlier that stuck with me when you were talking about how you can take like a person and write why you are grateful for that person. As I was thinking about that, I was just thinking about like for any relationship, whether it's just a relationship with your good girlfriends, or if you have a partner, or if you're married. I think that is really awesome. That can definitely keep you like in the middle of the road,
Yeah.
with your relationship. It can improve communication, because if there are disagreements, it's during those times when you're kind of looking at the person like, mm, hmm. Whatever thoughts you're having, but you're like,
Yeah.
but if you can think about why you're actually grateful that that person is there, that can really, I was just thinking that can really help to facilitate some great conversation, because when you're just mad and you really can't think of a reason why, those are the things that make you walk away, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if we can really tune into why I'm really, grateful that this person is here, and that, despite this, I'm happy about this,
Yeah.
then that might be able to facilitate some great communication. I know that hasn't doesn't have anything to do with gratitude, but I was just thinking about that.
But it does, because if you are going through one of the inevitable lulls in long-term relationships, maybe committing yourself to every night before you go to bed to thinking of one thing you're grateful for having that person in your life. And maybe we can use a jar again, plop it into a jar
Yeah.
at the end of the week on Sunday dinners, or when you're sitting down, just with this person, just say to him or her that I have been keeping track of all the things that I'm grateful for having you in my life, and open up the jar and just share them with this person.
Oh, Rosalind, we're gonna have to do a podcast on
Okay.
that, because that is like, that's too good. That's too good. But we're trying to wrap this one up. But I
Yeah.
just had to show you this. So I told you that I really operate out of a state of gratitude. Doesn't mean that I don't face problems, or that bad things don't happen to me, or that I don't experience grief, and none of that stuff. I am really, a regular person, but so it takes work to keep yourself really where you really want to be, especially if you're trying to like move forward in life. So I wanted to share this with you, so I'm going to pick it up. So those of you who are,
Nice.
so this is my jar. And look, I'm an overachiever. So my jar is super big, as you can see here. But like it has words on it like live, friends, trust, smile, imagine,
Yeah.
dream big, simply believe, create, and hope. And it has my favorite colors. My favorite color is pink and purple. So that, I mean, look, I just went to like Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
All of this came from Hobby Lobby. It has I don't know if you have one in your area. They're not, and no, they're not paying for this podcast. So but in the bottom, I've actually bought like jewels. They're faux jewels, but they're like diamonds and pearls, to remind me that I'm precious. And then I just drop little colorful notes in there. And I bought place cards.
Oh,
They're
okay.
not
Yeah.
expensive. They're like $1.99. I don't know,
Yeah.
$2.99, $5.99,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And they're so big, like the place cards that you put on the table with the names. they're so large that you can like cut them in half. You end up with like so many.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be expensive to
No.
do the project,
Yeah.
is what I was just pointing out. And so yes, this is a big jar, and I put things in there like what I'm grateful for, but I also put in here like, you know, my dreams, like things that I want to achieve or things that I want my husband to know. So that's why it's really a big jar, because I'm wanting to use it more of like a communication hub and a
Right.
place where, and at some point, like Rosalind mentioned, we're going to sit down and actually pull notes out
Yeah.
and read them, my husband and I. So see.
Yeah. And I mean that made me think of another podcast topic, and that's how to create a practice of affirming yourself, right? So
Yes. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that's
Yeah.
a whole nother day.
That's a whole different day, but yes, we can talk about that all day long. So,
Yeah.
guys, thank you so much for being here with us. This has been like a great episode. Thank you, you for just being along for this journey, because Rosalind and I truly just have a blast whenever we're talking with one another, and we're just happy to be able to share with you. So, our takeaway for today. We didn't talk about what the takeaway was going to be, Rosalind. There are so many things, but
Yeah.
really just that, our takeaway would be to begin practicing gratitude, that it can take you a long way towards, achieving mental and emotional peace.
Yeah. A few minutes a day is all it takes.
Yep, just a few minutes a day.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much. If you like this episode, please let us know if there are some things that you practice, some ways that you practice gratitude out there that we didn't mention. We would love it if you would share it with us. Just send us a little message at relentlesstransitions@gmail.com, and we will see you right back here next time for the next episode of Relentless Transitions.
Thanks for listening, everyone.